So there's a few people wondering about my old trading bot. Remember I told you I created this trading bot, and anyone that was a Patreon member could use it if they wanted to. Because in order to use it, it looks at my subscription list through a file that I create where I update it with who's still basically paying the subscription to Patreon, who's not. And if you're on that list, it'll let you basically run the program. So I've been tweaking it, changing this, changing that, and I had originally, which I still pay for, a kind of a signal service that has issues buys and sells, and you could let that run on your TradingView account, tradingview.com. And then once those things trigger, you can have it do things like send an email, open up a specific web page link you put in there, like it can trigger and do things. So I'm utilizing this so that my bot looks at those buy and sell triggers and then simply buys and sells. Just letting the signal service run itself didn't seem too smurf, as the old Smurfs would say, too smurfalicious. It would do some good ones, bad ones, and I started feeling like, God, it's when it, man, I wish it would have sold before that sell trigger signal, because I would have been at least in a little bit of profit. But once the sell signal triggered, now I'm either break even or below. Not always, but enough, more than I liked. And I think if I waited, I wouldn't have been too pleased with the results. And that's how it was running at first. So I said, all right, I'm looking back at the charts, and I said, man, if I could just scrape 1% in profit off these trades. Now I know approximately 1/10 of 1% is going to come off for the trading fees. Whenever you do a trade, 1/10 of 1% is coming off. So basically that's 0.2%, which leaves 0.8 remaining. That's your profit. Okay, follow me? And I noticed if I had set this thing to just listen to the buy signal still, but don't necessarily listen to the sell signal yet. So the way it's working now is if we see 1% profit on Bitcoin, it will sell without waiting for a signal. It listens for the buy and it will buy. And then if we see 1%, it doesn't care about a sell signal. It just sells automatically because it knows the price. Boom, sells. If a sell signal comes in before we get to 1%, then yes, it will sell based off the sell signal. And we want to keep that functionality, because if it's detecting essentially, maybe a pretty heavy duty sell-off's coming, I don't want to be stuck in that market waiting for it to correct back to where I need it to get my 1%. It may take too long, and maybe weighed down too much, and you may be following that thing way down, like it's just not going to make sense. So I said, if a sell signal comes in, let it go ahead and listen to it, because what I looked at in the previous charts was the 1% typically would happen before that sell signal would come in anyways. So I said, I'm going to change this. So I changed it. And now basically, like I said, if a buy signal comes in, it listens. If it sees 1% on its own, it'll sell. And then if a sell signal comes in, it will sell as well. And typically that sell signal coming in by itself means your 1% ain't here, and maybe the market's going down more, so go ahead and get out of the market anyways. Whether you break even or take a little loss, it is what it is. But I have noticed that thing, when there's some pretty heavy duty drops, it was already out of the market before that happened. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. At least the regular service that I pay for, this signal service, is working in that respect. But I want the damn thing to work to where I can just say buy, sell, and not have to touch anything. Letting the signal service do both buys and sells, it wasn't working out too well. It was a break even. It was down a little bit. I was like, all right. So anyways, I created that new update. This was a little while back, like maybe about after the first week of December, I think I did this update, if I recall. So it just happens automatically. Now over here on the top right where it says amount of BTC to trade, it's 0.1. I'm not allowing anybody, even though it's your own account, to trade more than 1/10 of 1 Bitcoin right now. I felt like if this thing wrecks somebody, something goes wrong. I've got my disclaimers, like you agree to use this program, don't hold me harmless or whatever. Hold me harmless if anything happens. Because I just want to make sure nothing bad happened. Well, nothing bad has happened. It's working fine. But still, do I really want to release this where someone can trade a full Bitcoin right now? I mean, I could. Again, it's still kind of in testing period. It's on 1/10 of a Bitcoin, approximately $800, $830 right now. So you can see the following trades. And it starts off the top down. So it starts with the sell. There was a buy before that, of course, because the program has to start off with a buy. And my kids were messing with my computer, and they restarted it. So as soon as they restarted it, boom, all the logs there in the middle went away. So I had to go back in, hit start trading bot, click start again, all that crap, which I did. But I realized, man, let me just get this off my computer, because my kids do use the one in my man cave, and I'm going to put it on my dedicated server. So now this program that you see right now on the screen is running on my dedicated server. No one ever touches it. I don't have to worry about them accidentally restarting my computer or something. That's why it triggered a sell, because it still remembers your last trade. So it knew we were in a buy order waiting for that 1% profit. So even though I moved it to another computer, I copied the registry over after I reinstalled the program, whatever. So it knew what it was waiting for, and a sell triggered. So that's why it starts with a sell if this doesn't make sense. So just disregard that top one for $746. The next one was a buy. As you can see, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. And we have the last 4 today, the 7th. The market started rallying, and this thing was just scraping off a percent, a couple, a buy and a sell is essentially a trade, if you will, one trade, and then another buy and a sell is another trade. So it did 2 trades today for roughly a percent each. Again, take away the fees, whatever, and that was that. So that was pretty cool to see this thing really taking advantage of this slight little bull run we had here. Not that it was a huge bull run. And even though I said, well, let me look at, though, to be fair, this thing started back in early December when I had this trading at 1/10 of a Bitcoin there, 0.1, and I had this thing fixed and the 1% profit, it's all ready to go. So I said, well, to be fair, let me go download my order book history from Binance and I'll calculate. So I created a spreadsheet, which is, I'll show you the screen here, is here. So the greens are all buys, which I highlighted these myself. The greens are all buy prices. And again, this is the price of Bitcoin. And then off to the right over here, where it's like, so 7,300 and then 730. That's because I'm playing with 1/10 of a Bitcoin, right? So that's a 10% of a Bitcoin. That's what I was playing with, that 0.1 Bitcoin. So that's the actual order, what it cost me, because that's what I was playing with. It was just telling you this is the price of Bitcoin as well when you'd made that trade. So essentially, I've added, and it didn't matter if I added these or not. I added this one over here. The math is the same. So that's all that matters, because I want to just share this with you. So if you added, if we were playing with one full Bitcoin, and again, I wasn't willing to play with a full Bitcoin, because what if my program messes up? What if there's an issue, right? So I was only playing with 1/10. So I added up as if I was playing with a full Bitcoin. And that goes back to December the 5th of 2019. And today's the 7th, so it's basically a month and a few days, or a couple days. And then these 2 highlighted here, these are the buys and sells. So typically you want to see your sell total amount higher. So all I did was add up every single price of these trades, of the price of Bitcoin per trade on each of these. So in total, now this doesn't mean I traded, $154,000 worth of Bitcoin. No, this would have essentially been like one Bitcoin being traded, bought, sold, bought, sold, bought, sold, bought, sold. And all of those trading activities of that one Bitcoin equals this amount. So all the buys was $154,000, and the sells would have been $154,472. So this is 89. So this is close enough. 72 to 89 is about the same. So we would have seen in 1 month period of time, if we were playing with one Bitcoin, we would have made roughly $400. This includes the period of December when the market was even going down, sideways, down some more. Like, that was during that as well. Just FYI. Now that the market turned around, as you can see, these last few trades right here, and I know this says January the 8th over here. That's because we're on UTC time. But Eastern time, this was today. This is all the 7th. Remember the buy, sell that I showed you in my program. That's what you're looking at, these 4 up to row 11 here. So basically a buy, sell, and a buy, sell. This is when the market was like, oh, we're going up. So I didn't have a single loss. It was just profit, profit, profit. Matter of fact, if you look back, even back here to the 4th, we we bought in at 73.53, sold at 74. That's a profit. Bought in at 75.06, sold at 76.21. That's a profit. 78.85 to 8,005. That's a profit. 81.83 to 82.70. That was a profit. That was just when the market turned around. So I'm telling myself, like, well, damn, here I am. And actually, you know, again, if I was playing a full Bitcoin, I'd have made $400 this month in a month without me having to interact with anything. As long as I had the money in the account, which I did. But again, I didn't play with a full Bitcoin at $8,000 or $7,000, whatever it was when I first got in, $7,400. Because I'm playing with this program, I'm not willing to risk that much right now. Especially if the thing turns out, well, it did too many bad trades than good trades. You know, I don't want to lose, you know, more money than I have to. So I chose to trade a tenth of that, right? Because I said I was playing with 0.1 of a Bitcoin. So that $400 profit, a tenth of that would be $40, right? $40 times 10 would be $400. So in other words, what I actually did for the month, playing with $700, let's say, essentially, because the price was like, what, 70, what was it? Let me scroll down and look at the thing when I got started, the spreadsheet. 75, 74. It was $7,300. So the first trade on December the 5th was $7,300. So in other words, for me, it was $730. So I played with $730. Now, granted, when you put the money in the account, basically you're putting either TUSD, Tether, or is that USDT, whatever Tether is, and then or Binance's version of their stablecoin, which is BUSD. I chose to use Binance's stablecoin BUSD during this whole thing. It doesn't matter one way or the other. So, anyways, you got to put not only the amount you want to play with and trade with. So, in other words, if the price is $730 right now, or in this case, Bitcoin 7,300, let's say, and I'm playing with a tenth of it, then that means my account is going to be $730 I need in there. You've got to put extra in there. You must have some wiggle room in case the thing sells for a slight loss or whatever. The fee, you know, you got to have a little extra. So if I was playing with 730, and I was, and I put closer to $1,000 in the account in BUSD, that was my play money. Even though I didn't need all 1,000, I only needed 730. But again, if I have 2 or 3 losing trades in a row, I need to have that wiggle room there. You know what I mean? So that's the point I'm making. So if anyone wants to join my Patreon, which is where I allow people to use this program, if you're a member of my Patreon, you can actually use the program. I want to let everyone know that's how you got to at least start with some funding in your Binance account, create the API. I have a little tutorial video. It's simple. And then the thing just works. I also have a section in there where you can put in your phone number, your cell phone. And if you hover your mouse over that little section, it'll tell you, here's the common providers, T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, whatever. And if you have them, here's what your phone number would look like. Like at Verizon, it would be your phone number, 555, whatever, phone number at vtext.com. That's Verizon's email to text service. So you can actually text your cell phone. So I have that set up. So my program will text you every single time it does a buy or sell. Although currently it's not sending you the buy or sell price. It's just letting you know a buy order was put in at this time. A sell order was put in at this time. And it's just notifying you that it's doing things, So anyways, right now it's working. I was surprised to see in kind of the crappier down market, there were still some trades that were positive. Yes, there were some that weren't positive, that were losses. However, there were also trades, like I said earlier, when the actual signal came in that said sell, we didn't reach a 0.1% profit yet, and it still said, no, we're selling for a loss. But then the market dumped even harder. Well, we were already out of the market anyways. Well, that's fine with me. I'm out of the market. I'm good. So then the buy signal comes in. It does rinse and repeat, So I just wanted to share that because it's actually working. Even though I've got it set to 1%, I just kept looking like, man, 1%, you're not being greedy. It's like, yeah, it's a tiny profit, but, again, if I was playing with a full Bitcoin and again, for $7,300, let's say I put, $9,000 in the account to play with $7,300 Bitcoin. My profit right now would be $400 $400 for 1 month. I just made $400 in a month by my bot doing whatever the hell it thinks it needs to do. I didn't have to go in and monitor stuff and, oh, a sell signal came in at 2 o'clock in the morning. Let me wake up and log into my account. And imagine if the buy and sell, like if you're taking a trading service and then that comes in late at night, you take it and then it actually sucked and you lost. Oh my God, I woke up out of bed for that crap. At least if you took a loss, the damn thing did it in the middle of the night while you were sleeping peacefully. My bot. So will this continue this trend? I've only been fully testing this with all the latest updates, like I just explained to you, for a month. I'm pleased in that it was crappy in the bid for most of December. It literally just turned around. And boom, 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 there's some profit. Boom, right away. So, it is what it is, but I just thought I'd tell you about that because I'm kind of proud of that I built this damn thing and it has actually worked. And it was better than just letting the trading signal service work on itself, because when that sell signal would come in, a lot of times, like, man, it already had a good profit. Why didn't it just take the damn profit before the sell signal? Shoot, because the signal's the signal. It's all, algorithms and, programming. So that's why I said, well, the hell with that. I'm going to set mine to just do 1%. So it's Papa. Papa Snip Force calling. Talk to y'all later.